everyone, my name is Amber Gadway. Welcome to my talk. It is called A Cowgirl's Throne. We're talking about saddles, of course. They were created thousands of years ago for the intention of redistributing the rider's weight on the horse's back evenly and also giving a cozy spot for the rider to spend the day wherever they were riding to. The oldest saddle ever found was actually found in a Chinese woman's tomb from 727 BC. So we know we've been using them a really long time. Our plan is to look at the equipment we need to saddle a horse, meet the horse and talk about safety tips, and then saddle the horse in the correct steps, kindly thinking about their temperament and their conformation, which is just how their body is built. So we have our equipment right here. We will be taking a look first at this saddle. Saddles originally, when people started using them, were made out of just animal skins and cloth tied to the horse's back. But as you can see, that is not what we use anymore. This is leather, which lasts a lot longer, and it has become more ornate, which helps it to do its job better. If you look at the bottom, this is called the tree of the saddle, and you can see how it goes this way, and there's a hole up the middle. So the horse's spine is going to be here, so that none of the rider's weight is going to be on their spine, allowing them to move freely and not have discomfort while you're on the trails. So that is the tree of the saddle. If we turn it over, this is the comfiest part for us, is the throne itself. This is the leather part where you sit, and your legs go down the sides and your feet go in these stirrups here. We will also be using a girth which connects both sides of the saddle and under the horse's belly. We will be using a saddle blanket, which will go underneath the saddle itself. You don't actually have to have a saddle blanket. You would be fine without it, but we like to use them. It gives a little extra cushion for the horse. It absorbs their sweat if you're on a really long ride, and it looks nice too. So we use these. We'll also be using a brush, and that's it. So now I can just go grab the horse really quick. I'll be right back. We have her tied up over here so she doesn't go too far. Hi, babe. Here she is. You might see some more horses in this video as well. We have 5 of them in here. This is Maya. She is a paint horse, so she has the colors of the dark brown and the white, and she's going to be the one modeling the saddle for us today. This is Trinity, her adopted child. Hi, are you going to be in the way? It's okay, we can figure it out. Okay, baby, can you go that way, please? The first thing we're going to do is talk about safety tips. Anytime you're working with a horse, make sure you know that horse very, very well. That's the best thing for your longevity, because no 2 horses are the same. They're all very different and they have different backgrounds. So some horses have had a really nice life, some have not. We have some rescue horses that were not treated so well. So they can react with aggression to people that they don't know and in circumstances that they're unfamiliar with. So just make sure you know that horse really well before you work with them. These are our horses, so we're going to continue. First, we brush them, and make sure that you remember that this is going to be your partner for the ride. Hi! No, we're not scratching our head. Oh, I know. Good girl. This is your partner, so make this time as enjoyable as possible, because this is some good bonding time for you and your horse. So we are brushing them. If you can see, we're brushing them to get all of the hair in the correct direction, because I don't know if you guys have ever had a ball cap or something with your hair kind of wonky underneath. That does not feel good, especially if you're going to be at it for hours. And you also want to get all of the dirt and debris out from under where the saddle's going to be sitting. So I'm going to do the other side too. Get all that hair off. This is just an example. Of course, you would take longer if you're actually going to be riding for a long time. But don't forget to do the girth area as well, underneath. Make sure that's all nice and clean. All right, once she's all clean, we can start putting the equipment on her. Okay, babe. First thing we're gonna do is grab this saddle blanket and we're gonna put it up on her. These are called her withers. So the highest point here on her back, we put this up here and a little bit high, and then you scoot it back so it smooths her hair in the correct direction. And then we're gonna grab the saddle. The saddle goes frontwards like this. It'd be funny if you ended up with it backwards. You could ride backwards. It goes up and over. Everything's smoothed out. Sweet, babe. Hi. She didn't get the memo that she was doing this today. Once the saddle's on, you can grab the girth. Come here, let's go grab the girth with you. Come on. So this is the part that's actually going to keep the saddle on the horse. You lift up. You lift up this part and you can see the straps underneath. And what we're gonna do is, you can go ahead and eat if you want to, Maya. We're gonna put these, there are holes here. They just go under like that, and you wanna do both of them. Both like this. And then that's hanging pretty sturdy. And then we're gonna go to the other side and do the same thing. So you reach under, and this is why you want to know the horse really well. So you reach under and you pull this up and you do the same thing. Depending on how wide or girthy, that's why actually where that phrase came from, the horse is, depends on where you're going to tighten this to. So underneath, same thing. I'm just going to pull this up, and we can only get, she's been eating pretty well. We can only get it to the third, hole on here. Let's do the same thing for both. And now it's really important to make sure this isn't too tight. You don't want to over tighten it. So you stick your fingers at the bottom and make sure you can get at least 2 fingers in there pretty easily. And we can, so we're good. It's funny because if you don't tighten the girth enough, this whole saddle while you're riding can slide down and you'll end up under them, which doesn't sound like fun at all. Okay, so the saddle is on at this point. The only thing that I would say is sometimes horses can trick you and puff out their belly and make it look like the cinch is tight or the girth is tight. So what you want to do is take them in a circle and make sure that they're not pretending to be bigger than they are. And then we'll check this again. So we'll walk her in a circle. Come on. That's probably good right there. And then check. No, she was not tricking us. It is still just as tight as it was. And so the saddle at this point is ready to go. You just take, we put these up for storage, but you take these down, and if this is set for you, you're good to go. If you are taller or smaller than the last person, you check by putting the stirrup under your armpit and your fingers to the saddle. So that's perfect for me. If it's different, you can change the setting of it right here and make these longer or shorter. So we are good with the saddle being on. But let's go over what we talked about today. So we briefly spoke about the history of the saddle. We talked about safety tips, especially knowing your horse. That's really the biggest safety tip there is, because then you're going to be able to see their body language and things that otherwise you would not be able to tell. And then you can keep your feet out of the way and know if they're getting cranky. The next thing we talked about was the equipment that we were using, and then we went over the steps of putting it on a horse, and really it's quite quick. The only thing that's left is the part we've been waiting for, checking our work and getting on. She doesn't have her bridle on, but put these up over. If you're getting on, you just stick one foot in and yeehaw!